everybody, thanks for tuning in. I thought I would make a video today doing a flip through of months January to March in my A5 Hobonichi. I did a brief little flip through before, kind of showing how I used my Hobonichi overall, how I used the months and the daily and weekly pages, but now I'm just going to focus on the daily pages, January through March, and then I thought I could do some more videos in the 3-month increments. So I'll just flip it open here. I guess I'll start by saying the planners I've used in the past and why I'm using a Hobonichi this year. I started off kind of my decorative planning journey in 2015, and I started using an Erin Condren. And I really enjoyed the Erin Condren, but it was quite expensive. I live in Canada, so it was really pricey to ship it here. And also, they had some quality control issues for quite a while, if I'm being honest. So I do like trying new things and being inspired by other people in the community. So after the Erin Condren, I went to a Happy Planner. I used that for 2 years. And then after a Happy Planner, I went to a Traveler's Notebook in conjunction with an A6 Hobonichi for memory keeping and daily doodling similar to this. And then this year, I decided to try out the Hobonichi Cousin in the A5 size, and it's been love ever since. So I'll explain what I'm using my daily pages for. I decided that I wanted to practice my doodling and artwork, and I thought the daily pages would be a great place to do that and also document memories. So I'm using it for kind of a daily memory keeper / doodle book. So this is the start of the year. I have some planetary events listed. I'm very interested in astrology and astronomy, and I thought it would be kind of a cool thing to do at the beginning of the year to see what's coming. I also have my solar return chart, and then I have tipped in some like the aspects. So yeah. So there might be a page or two that I have taped off and I won't be showing. It's just some stuff's just a little too personal for YouTube. So each, the beginning of every month has like a cover page. So that's what I did for January. And I just did some goals that I have here. Unfortunately, my husband's grandfather passed away at the beginning of the year, so I just did a little doodle of him in memory of him, and a quote from Harry Potter. I think everyone knows this quote. Dumbledore watched her fly away, and as her silvery glow faded, he turned back to Snape, and his eyes were full of tears. After all this time, always, said Snape. And that's just, I was working on some orders. I do have a small little Etsy shop, and that's my packaging, insert packaging. And then I was just kind of making fun of myself and also planner trends, but also saying, hey, maybe there's something to that. What I'm referring to is like the word of the year. I really didn't get the word of the year thing everybody was doing. But I thought if I were to have a word of the year, it would be like a sentence of the year, and that would be you do you, boo. Like, just worry about yourself. It'll come together. Don't worry about what other people think. You got this. You do you. A literal shitstorm. My son is almost 2, and he was a shitty mess that day. And that was a traffic infraction that my husband lost the case. And that was just me doing some doodling and my son going to grandma's. And that was, I had watched the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. without giving my age away too much, I was definitely around when this happened. Um, the incident with the girl and the tape. And I can remember people having a much different reaction than they do now. So it's very interesting, to say the least, how this is all playing out. This is back to my husband's grandfather, and these are just some memories, personal memories that I have of him. I did a watercolor background. They called him Ugu, so I just did some quick memories that I had of him so that I'll always be able to show my youngest the special times that we had with him. Speaking of my youngest, his name is Lincoln, and he was being an absolute monster that day. And here is, we made some squash soup to bring to my husband's grandmother. And I thought these squashes turned out pretty good, actually. I believe it was some Daniel Smith paints that I used there. My oldest had his 11th birthday party. This is a gaming symbol. I don't know. That's what he wanted on his cake. And I just did a little thing here of his obsession with computers. It's just getting a little crazy. Gotta cut down on the screen time. Here I did a little trio here of I dropped a tripod on my toe and that really hurt. I lost 2 flat irons that I don't even use, so I don't even know how that's possible. And it was the supermoon and an eclipse, and I was like all over the place. So just a little doodle about that. And we took my oldest and his friends to see Spider-Man for his birthday. And that was an awesome movie. I really enjoyed that. And I did get this image from Google and then recreated it. I think this day I just totally, completely pigged out on some iced cinnamon buns. And I felt truly disgusting afterwards and topped it off with gummy bears. And then over here is a tarot spread that I did. And I also have another tarot journal. So this was just kind of the cards, and then my interpretation was in the other journal. I didn't complete this. I still intend to. It's kind of all of the words that my youngest could say at 1.5 years. And then that was like my planning journey. And this was a visit with someone I know, and I decided to kind of capture her in my journal. And that inspired me to put that quote there. And that's a melting snow branch and an eggplant and a peach. That is a quote by Ira Glass. And my background, I was going for a moon mist look. If you're not Canadian, you probably don't know about moon mist ice cream, but it's the best ice cream ever. And then my friend and her little baby came for a visit, so I took some pictures with my oldest and put them in there. I also was using a lot of metallic watercolors and mixing that in with regular watercolors to get different shades. So I don't know if you can kind of see the reflection there. I really enjoyed doing that. And that was a plate of Chinese food that I had that was just terrible. I will never order from this place again. It was not good. And this was my day. My son went to grandma's. I went out for lunch with a good friend of mine. My husband was having a bad day. And this looks exactly like him when he's having a bad day. And then this is the start of February. I went for a No Face Spirited Away theme. This is probably one of my favorite pages in my planner. I really enjoy these 2 pages. And those were just some goals. This was another tarot spread, but this is just hard on the eyes. Like, this is just too much color, Elena. This was 2 of my good friends, and we went out for brunch. And then I believe this was new moon in Aquarius. Thought that I would put that there. And I got really sick, and I had the flu for the next couple upcoming days here. There was a shooting in front of my son's school after school, a drive-by, and a couple of his friends were there and saw it. And it was very, very scary. I've never experienced anything like that before, so that was definitely scary. I don't believe they've caught who it was, and there was definitely children around. I guess moving on from that, I don't even know, like, how do you end that sentence? But moving on, I was still sick, and you know, when you're so sick that, like, even your goosebumps have goosebumps, like, you're just ill. So that was me that day. And then it just dominoes. Everyone else got sick, the whole family. Oh, and then I decided to put tabs, not these tabs. I actually took them off because I just butchered it. So I was sick and decided putting tabs would be a great idea. And it was just like, none of the spacing was right. It was horrible. And I tried to live with it for a while, but I couldn't. So I ended up ripping them all off. And then there's pictures of my husband and my littlest guy cuddling on the couch, drinking juice boxes, being sick. And then this was from one of Shane Dawson's new conspiracy theory videos. And that was about Chuck E. Cheese. So like I mentioned, I'm Canadian. I've never been to a Chuck E. Cheese. I'm East Coast Canadian of that, so like we don't have Chuck E. Cheese around here at all. But dude, that pizza looks suspect. Like, that totally looked pieced together. So let me know what you guys think. I'm assuming most of my audience base would be American, so let me know, man. What's the dish on Chuck E. Cheese? Oh, and then that was my first Simply Gilded order. Even though I've been decorative planning since like 2015, I had never ordered anything from Simply Gilded. I always loved her washi, but I just couldn't compete. Like, I couldn't do the like set your alarm and like multiple orders to get what you want, and like so many people on the site, it sold out in seconds. I was just like, I can't handle this. It's too much stress. But I think it's finally to a place now where like the inventory's worked out. I think that she knows how much to anticipate, so it's much easier to get washi now. So I did order the like rainbow unicorn set and a pink set, and I've just been like making monthly orders since then, so I definitely have been making up for lost time. And there was a snow day that day. This was Valentine's Day, and my husband got a raspberry cheesecake, which I thought was delicious. But then the next day when I had a piece, I noticed it tasted funny, and I picked a raspberry off and looked inside, and almost every raspberry was covered in mold all on the inside. It was disgusting. So that was the thing. And then here's just some ideas of things to do with each of my children. And there's 9 years between them, so it's kind of like what to do with a little kid and what to do with a older kid. And then this was a quote that I liked. I don't really know if it is by Audrey Kitching. I think she's notorious for stealing quotes. So I did hear it from her, so I attribute it to her, but it might not be her. I'm not too sure. But it says, everything is constantly changing for our evolution. This moment is just a dot in the timeline of your life. Try to focus on the lessons and the growth. This is a transition period. You are safe and protected. Keep pushing through it. And then I just put a little grasshopper because I was feeling like, oh, yes. Wise one. Learn, little grasshopper. Okay. I was killing the non-dairy Cherry Garcia from Ben & Jerry's. I'm not like a vegan or vegetarian or anything. I did used to be vegan for a while. And this is delicious ice cream. And then this is just me running around with my littlest guy on my shoulders. For some reason, he started calling it Badoo Badoo. I don't know why. So we run around and we go Badoo Badoo Badoo. So that is what that is referring to. And same little guy had a meltdown that day. So that is a picture of him crying on the couch. And then here is some sketches of some sushi lunch that I had with my husband. And I also got some art supplies, so I put that at the bottom there. And then this is a swatching of a Daniel Smith dot card. I was trying to narrow down some paints that I wanted and complete my palette. And my palette, I'll whip that out quickly, is all completed. This is my Pride and Joy watercolor set. But at the time, I was still narrowing down some colors. And then I lost my shit that day, so I put it in my planner because I am memory keeping, the good and the bad. And I was trying to brainstorm some ideas how to not get to that place because I did not feel good about that. And then the very next day, my oldest broke his arm in school, so we had to take him to the hospital and get that sorted out. And then there's just a quote, she believed she could, but she was tired, so she rested, and you know what? The world went on, and it was okay. She knew she could try again tomorrow. Sometimes you just need to hear that, right? And I was feeling a little kind of out of sorts and zombie-ish, so I thought I would do a zombie cover page for March. And then there's some more mixing the metallic paints with my regular watercolors. Thought that turned out pretty, and some goals there. I got some new paints, and I took a trip to Halifax, just across the bridge from where I live. And then here's a little tip-in. That was some more swatching of Daniel Smith colors, narrowing down from the dot card. And then I thought, well, I do have these memories, so I should probably put them in there. So I tipped that in there. And then Mercury went retrograde, so I did a little picture of that. And me and my youngest got stuck in the snow going out for a walk. So I did a doodle of me struggling. My son was getting his cast off, and I got car sick on the way home, which was like really weird. I don't know why that happened. That was not fun. And then I watched Leaving Neverland, which is another heavy documentary. And I did a doodle of some fried chicken and some more paint that I picked up that day. And then a picture of me hooked up to a coffee IV drip because that's life, right? That's mom life. And then I watched The Case Against Adnan Syed. I had listened to the podcast, and I was fascinated with it when that first came out. And I checked it. I wasn't happy with the HBO show, though. I thought they could have done much more than 4 episodes. And then I got some more watercolors, and me and my kids, played ball in the house with some dryer balls. That was fun. Sometimes you just gotta do stuff you wouldn't normally do, like play ball in the house. That's a picture of my youngest sitting in my drawer. I turned around from making dinner and he was just sitting in the drawer. Probably one of those moments where it's like you shouldn't take a picture, but you do. And then there was me making a list of my watercolor set, but I think it actually has changed since then. And then my littlest guy was saying buzz off a lot, so I turned him into a bee and put buzz off. And just a little kind of quote, the universe only has 3 answers: yes, not right now, and I have something better. So I thought that was a great way of looking at the no's. Looking at it as I have something better. And then I did a recipe for some potato cakes that turned out absolutely delicious. They're still, I'm still looking to make latkes. I've never made a latke that turned out how it should. And so these were more like fried mashed potato cakes, but they were good. They were really good. And then I just did a little thing that was March break, and some Happy Mail that I got. And then I was just playing around, mixing some paint on the page and seeing how it blended together. And a little quote here that says, your competition isn't other people, your competition is your procrastination, your ego, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you neglect, the negative behavior you're nurturing, and your lack of creativity. Compete against that. That just really resonated with me. I really liked that. I saw the documentary Root Cause, and I believe it was on Netflix. But they've totally scrubbed it from the internet. The American Dental Association was not having that. So I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I love documentaries like that. I've got my own ideas about root canals because I've had one root canal and I've had absolutely nothing but trouble with it. And I'm actually getting it removed in August, because it is still infected and it's not fun at all. So I don't know. I can see something there. And then this I haven't completed yet. These are mine and my husband and my 2 boys' natal charts. So I still do intend to go back and finish those. And then this was just me playing with some paints, mixing colors together, using some metallic watercolors as well. And then, oh my god, my oldest and his yeets. Like, what the hell is a yeet? So I was just kind of making fun of him here. All good-naturedly, of course. And then I never really used to like dumplings, but I really started liking chicken stew and dumplings this year. So that was a dumpling recipe. And I had a visit with one of my very best friends, Javani, and we got some coffee and we did our tarot cards. And that was an attempt at a mandala, but that really did not turn out that great. And then I did listen to a little bit of Nipsey Hussle, and he passed away. So I thought that I would put that in my journal, and I apologize to any Nipsey fans. I know I didn't do his picture justice, but I still wanted to put that memory in there. And then we go into April. So that was the first 3 months of 2019. That's probably a pretty good place to stop. And yeah, I'll do, what do we got? April, May, June next. So stay tuned to my channel, and thank you for watching, guys. Bye.